Welcome back to another episode of the Explain series. In part 1, we broke down everything you need to know about the NITI Aayog, its structure, purpose, and impact. If you haven't watched it yet, make sure to check that out first for better context. In this part, we shift our focus to the historical roadmap of India's 5 years plans and how the country envisioned structured economic development from the 1940s all the way to 2017. Let's begin with the roots. The concept of planned economic development began gaining traction globally after the Great Depression of the 1930s. Now, most economies across the world, like the capitalist ones especially, suffered major setbacks with unemployment, bank failures, and collapsing markets. But interestingly, the USSR, that was the only major economy that remained largely unaffected. Back in India, the idea of planned development first took place in 1934 when M. Visveswara proposed a 10-year plan in his book, which is called as the Planned Economy for India. This was a pioneering vision that advocated for systematic development. By the way, if you're interested in a detailed video on how the USSR's economic planning helped it grow during those years, let me know in the comments. I'll be more than happy to cover that in a separate video. Now, then we come to 1938, where the Indian National Congress, under the presidency of Subhash Chandra Bose, established the National Planning Committee. While you must be knowing about the INC, that is Indian National Congress, if you don't know about it yet, make sure to drop a like or comment below. I'll post that in a separate video if you're interested further. However, the progress was very limited just because several top INC leaders who resigned from their posts shortly thereafter. Some of the names I'll be mentioning right here. You can check that out more in the Wikipedia or Google to know more about the 1938 National Planning Committee. Then moving ahead, we have one of the main significant plans that emerged that time in 1944, that the two of the main significant plans emerged. First, the Bombay Plan, which was crafted by leading industrialists like the JRD, Tata, and JD Birla. This aimed at doubling the India's per capita income in 15 years and emphasized government support to product to protect indigenous industries from foreign competition. That also plan sought the government intervention as to protect indigenous industries against foreign competition in the local markets and to promote the indigenous industry products in the local markets and not the foreign products. Now, what happened after this, since the Bombay Plan was one of the very important plans? In the same year, the next plan that came up was the Gandhian Plan of 1944, which was proposed by S.N. Agarwal. As the name suggests, this focused on uplifting society from the grassroots level. That is laid emphasis on that is emphasizing agriculture and small scale village level industries. This was the plan of Gandhian Plan. And finally, coming after, we have the People's Plan in 1950. That is Jay Prakash Narayan, uh, who drafted the People's Plan. By thereafter, we have the in 1945 M.N. Roy, who proposed the People's Plan. That was a 10 years roadmap that prioritized agricultural reform and consumer goods through collectivization and state ownership. That this and note that M.N. Roy's 10 years plan is similar to the 1934 M. Visveswaraya's plan. Both of them had the same ideology to follow a 10 years plan for improving the economy of India. And finally, after all these attempts, in 1950, Jay Prakash Narayan drafted the Sarvodaya Plan. It too leaned towards small scale, decentralized industries and especially textile and cottage sectors. Now I'll be providing more details right here. As you can see in front of you, the images of 1950 Jay Prakash Narayan's plans, which was later on produced in front of the government. All this is a key roadmap where you can have a brief knowledge and have a better chance of understanding the entire roadmap from how it started to how it ended. Now, by the time India gained independence in 1947, there was a need for a formal planning structure, and it became really urgent at times. The reasons were too many, but we'll cover the important reasons right now. That is the acute food shortages and the rising inflations. Second is the widespread poverty. Third is a weak private sector that is incapable of driving large scale growth. Then a lack of industrial insurance mechanism, a poor healthcare facility and infrastructure, and critically widespread illiteracy. These foundational issues gave birth to the 5 years plan, centralized, time bound strategies aimed at rebuilding and strengthening India's economy. Here's a brief list of all the 5 years plan implemented by the Government of India, from the very first in 1951 to the final one, which is concluded in 2017. Now I'm adding a visual table here from first to the 12th 5 years plans, and let me know if you want to expand these parts about any specific plan or include a call to action at the end.